Ladies and gentlemen, I am sorry that I am late. I got sick. Yes, that kind of sick. But I'm on the mend and it is a beautiful day. So I thought today would be a lovely day to take a leisurely walk through the woods. By the way, I hope you're all well and safe. And wish you a 3 days after Christmas. Merry Christmas Eve. 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 Eve, 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 Eve. Eve, 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 Eve. I'm gonna have to switch arms. Oh no, it's hard to get it out of the pocket. Eve, 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 Eve. Why is there a pipe in the woods? Don't ask. Eve, Eve, Eve. Eve, 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 oh boy, Eve, 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 Eve. Eve, 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 Eve. We reached the end of the pipe. Eve, 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 Eve. Eve, 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 Eve. Eve, 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 Eve. Eve, 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 it's all downhill. It's gonna be hard going back up. Eve, 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 Eve. Eve, 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 Eve. Eve, 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 Eve. Oh no. Eve, 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 Eve. I'm in the middle of the woods, and my phone just told me there's a personal hotspot. There's no one for miles. Who's near me? It's Bigfoot with a cell phone. Eve, 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 Eve. Oh, it's my own phone. Okay. Eve, 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 Eve. I'm Bigfoot. Eve, 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 Eve. Eve, 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 Eve. Eve, 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 Eve. This is kind of fun. I'm going to be disappointed when it's over. Eve. Eve, 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 Eve. Eve, 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 Eve. Eve, 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 we made it to the creek. Eve, Eve, Eve. Sincerely. And on this Christmas Eve, we're going to learn to play Shine by Collective Soul, the Campfire version. Okay, it's good to be back. That sucked. Grab a D chord, start with your middle finger off. This is a D suspended 2. Give it a lugubrious strum down, followed by a hammer-on to the E string 2nd fret with your middle finger. Back to D suspended 2, and now emphasize the B string if you can. So what we want to hear is... But if you don't get that B string emphasis so scientifically, that's okay. Start with your lugubrious down strum and hammer on again. Followed by Eddie Vedder D, which has a really high A note there on the E string 5th fret. So you're going to switch from pointer, ring, middle finger on your regular D chord to pointer, middle, pinky finger on our Eddie Vedder D chord. Back to emphasize that B string, D suspended 2, regular D, C. To get some motion there, I'm going to take off my middle finger whenever it pleases me, and then G. Along the same lines, I'm going to press down the G string 2nd fret. My button broke. I have to reach over again. For the yeah part, we're going to start with D, but we're going to totally disregard the E string completely because we're going to need our middle finger for the D string. So, here we go. The D string is going to go open, 3 open, 3 open, 3 open, and then pointer finger comes off the G string. So what you hear is... right? Kind of starts the same. But after that, we're going to add the G string 1st fret. 3rd one's the same as the 1st one. 4th one is the same as the 2nd one. Into the whoa part, which starts with a C chord, but I'm going to play C add 9. You'll see why in a moment. C add 9 is the one that looks kind of like G and kind of like C. You take your 4-finger G and move your middle and pointer fingers down 1 string towards the center of the earth. Start with that chord. And then we're going to G, but I'm going to start with a G major 7. So those fingers go back where they belong, so to speak, but your pointer finger is going to move to the E string 2nd fret and your pinky finger is going to come off. And then go on and then go back off. So you get whoa, heaven let your D, and Eddie Vedder D. Do it again. That's the whoa section. And that leaves only the I'm gonna let it shine, I'm gonna let it shine, yeah, yeah part. The fast part at the end is just gonna be C, D, over and over again. And that part ends in... And that's it. That's how you Campfire Shine by Collective Soul. Thank you so much for being here. I hope that was fun and helpful, and I will see you next time with more stuff. Goodbye.